Good morning, everyone. I am Lori Kutsch. Welcome back to another Makers with Heart video collaboration. This month, we want to focus on the color of the year journey. And with that being said, I want to address what everyone has already heard, that yes, Close to My Heart is shutting its doors effective June 30th. And so our color of the year won't be available all year. We're devastated by this news, but we understand the reasoning behind it, and we're just grateful for the time that we did have and that Close to My Heart existed, and we made these bonds and friendships with everybody, and I hope we will continue to share those. You can place orders on my website through, excuse me, April 30th. And then after that, all the consultant websites will be taken down. So get your order in. There is still plenty of things on these websites to order. Yes, it did get hit really hard when the news came out, but things were still coming in. So there are still items that are in stock and coming in, and you can get stocked up on the stash that you need before April 30th. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me or any of the other makers. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And let's get started. So Journey, we were going to show different techniques and things you can do with Journey. So I have pulled out an older embossing folder, and it does have, I don't know if you can see it, the little dots like halfway and then open up here. There is an embossing folder available, I just looked, on our website right now called Swiss Dots, and it is the whole thing is dots, but you could accomplish what we're going to do just by only partially putting your paper in and embossing part of it. So you can still do this technique with that folder. Okay, so I'm going to set this stuff aside. I am going to, I have a card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, standard card base, and I am going to put this in pretty much all the way to the top, because I'm using the new, let me find it, Honey Bunny scrapbooking stamp, and I just had it here, right here, and I'm going to use the words Happy Spring is what I have on my block already. So that's pretty much going to take up the whole top part of that card. So if I put it on this embossing folder, you can see it's going to take up most of that. So I want to put my card all the way at the top. But before we do that, we're going to do some inking techniques. Okay. You'll know on both sides of the embossing folder, this is the debossed side because the little dots are going down, so they're not sticking up, it's flush. Over here, they're sticking up, and I can run my finger over them and catch on them. So I'm going to the debossed side. Is that what I was doing? Debossed, yeah. And I'm going to take my Journey ink pad. I'm going to just put some paper below it so I don't get ink everywhere. And I'm going to gently cover my embossing folder in the Journey ink. And I'm not pressing at all. I'm just gliding it across the top. I'm going to have a very uneven color, and that is perfectly fine. And I want to get up here on this, even though, well, this will make sense in a minute, but there is a little, like a stitched ledge right here. So I'm trying to get that. And if it doesn't come out clear, I have a plan. So next I'm going to set this aside for a second because I don't want to put my card in there just yet. I want to get my embossing folder set up. So I'm going to be using our die cut set. I got to switch it to embossing, and I don't want a whole lot of pressure on this. Okay. So turn this back around. Okay, now I am going to slide my card in here right at the top. And what this is going to do, try and do it so you can see, is when I close it down, it's going to put that ink on my card. And that's perfect. Exactly what I want to have happen. But what's going to happen is the debossed part is going to remain white. So I'm going to just run this through. And I think I need a little more pressure on this. I took all the pressure off. So without removing it, I'm going to just add a little more pressure. And then I'm going to run it back through. Ooh, I did it the wrong way. There we go. Just going to do it because I didn't have enough pressure on it the first time. I love this machine because you can adjust the pressure on it, and you don't have to shim anything. Okay, so now when I remove this, I'm going to be very careful. See that distressed kind of look we have there? And then it got really good coverage here, but nothing here. And that is exactly what I was looking for. And I did get some up here. It's not going to be a problem. And then this, I will just take it into my kitchen and run it under some warm water, and that ink's going to come right off because it's a water-based ink. And then I will set it to dry on a dish towel, and then I will file it away with my embossing folders. Okay, so now I could easily just stamp Happy Spring and Journey and call it a day, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to do some heat embossing. So I'm going to stamp the Happy Spring on a piece of Journey cardstock, and then I am going to put some white embossing powder on that. So I have some Versamark ink here. And I just grabbed a piece of scrap Journey cardstock that I had in my scrap bag. I have a huge bag of scrap pieces of paper, and I use them whenever possible because they're still good paper. Why waste it? So I'm just getting this good and covered up in embossing powder, or I'm sorry, in Versamark ink. And I'm going to stamp it close to the top and kind of centered. And I should have put the little thingy below it. And I want to get super good coverage on this because I want something for my embossing powder to adhere to. So funny story, as I was prepping for this video, I had to find and open an extra heat craft tool because my husband took mine to melt tar to seal our gutter. And it didn't come back very clean. It came back with tar on it. And I was like, just keep it. Don't want that back. And it's just another one of those funny stories where my husband takes my crafting supplies, which I find hilarious. Okay, now I'm going to just cover this. Oh, and there was a couple things I forgot to do on this. I haven't done it in a minute. And I do this over a piece of paper, so then I can just dump the extra back in. If you're watching and you know my husband, you know what I'm talking about with him. Now, what I should have done prior to stamping this was anti-static, and I completely forgot. But that's okay. We're going to try and make the best of it. I'm going to take a very fine tip brush and brush off where it's stuck and I didn't want it to. Oop, there's water in this one. Do not want that one. Okay. So if I leave this on here, it's going to emboss everywhere that it's at. And we don't want that because then our words won't be crisp and clear. So I am going to, I have a straggler little one. I'm going to trim it. Because it keeps getting into my this is going the wrong way. Okay. Realistically, I should probably just turn this over and start again. So kind of if you just move it and then tap it, it's going to come off. See, it's working. Learn from my mistakes. Always use your anti-static tool. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit this with the heat tool. Find out why it's not long enough, but that's okay. Oh, because I don't have the extension cord. So I'm going to heat this. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see it turn when it's been heated. Okay, now this actually worked out as a happy little accident. I didn't get really good coverage, so it looks a little distressed, which then matches my distressing of this. So now I just need to trim this down to be the right size. So I'm going to just lay this here and figure out. I'm not cutting anything, just getting measurements. So this goes up to about here. So I'm going to slide this through. I'm going to take my pencil and I am going to just mark in pencil where I want to cut this line. Okay, so now I'm going to just take some adhesive, put it on the back of this. I'm not one that normally covers the whole thing, but because I heat emboss this, it's a little crinkly, so I want it to lay flat. And then I have some Journey shimmer trim that I am going to just lay across the seam. If I can get it open. I try to keep the tail on there, which is why I didn't cut the backing with this. And I'm going to just overshoot all of it. And I want to get that stitching to show. Remember we talked about the stitching? So I'm trying to just lay this flat on here. And then what else do I want to add to this? I was thinking some sequins, because we do have Journey sequins, but I'm going to change my mind on that. And if you'll give me a second, I'm going to grab some stickles. I'm into my stickles right now. Which one? I am going to grab the diamond stickles. And I'm just going to put some dots to match these dots down here in random places on our journey. Now be careful not to put your hand in it. That is typically what I do when I come back across it. I'm just random putting these, making sure they're not in a straight line, but not in an exact diagonal, or a zigzag as well. And this will take a second to dry. Well, probably more than a second. But that's okay, I'll stick it in the mail tomorrow or Saturday to somebody. I always send thank you cards to orders on my website. And all of these items will be linked below. So check out the other makers. They started on Sunday the 10th, and they will go for 7 days. Each day we will release one video, and I am on Thursday, I believe it's the 14th. So hope you like it. It's kind of fun. I love the distressed look at this, but that's just one way that you can use your embossing folders that maybe you didn't know about. And you could ink the other side, so then the dots would be the ones that were sticking up, that would be inked instead of the other way around. So just play with it, have fun, and thank you for watching.